Hey y'all, it's Kalia Monique. My first name's Kalia, my middle name's Monique. It's Kalia Monique, and today we have a cozy video in store for you all, okay? Who is we? I'm a single person. I have a cozy video in store for you all. Let me grab the mug because you know it's here. Boom, it's Winnie the Pooh. I love him so much. The mug is out, so you know it is a cozy video. Today is a beginning of the year / Cozathon, not wrap up, but like update, a check-in if you will. We're just checking in. So first order of business for the check-in. How you doing, friend? How is 2023 treating you so far? I'm sending all the well wishes and all the great things your way. One thing that I have not been motivated to do is film vlogs, like at all. And I know that we are hosting Cozathon at the moment, and I would love to vlog my Cozathon for you all. But at the end of the day, I am having a really hard time sitting down and talking about books, even when I have things to say about them. But more so finishing books within a week or feeling as though I have enough B-roll for actual content for you guys that's actually interesting to look at and like pretty to look at. It just feels like a bunch of clips back to back to back, and I just want that easy flow, that transition of it all, and I'm just not getting that with my vlogs currently. So I am working on getting my inspiration back. Let's talk about Cozathon. So the Cozathon prompts are as stated here: a book with multiple POVs, a short book, so under 300 pages, a book with your fave trope, a TBR veteran of any format, an anticipated read, a standalone book, and a book you bought for the cover. I have officially completed 3 books, and those books are A Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair, The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin, and Aquacorn Cove by K. O'Neill. That one I struggle to say. Aquacorn, there we go. And Aquacorn Cove by K. O'Neill. Let's talk about the books, shall we? Because I have been having quite a great beginning of my year when it comes to reading. So as I stated, the first book that I finished was A Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. I gave this one 4.5 stars. Y'all, I genuinely thought I was about to start my year off with a 5-star read. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I loved what the author was doing when it came to this book. It, like, the way I realized how the title was being tied into this book, like, it was just so good. And I didn't know what to expect with the second book, although I knew that I loved A King of Battle and Blood and continue to recommend it to people. I knew that I liked A Touch of Darkness and found that to be like a cozy read. Even though she's telling a different story with that book, I still find her writing in general to be quite cozy and comforting for me personally. Like, it just seems like a good time, but also a cozy time. I don't like, it just has to do with my interest, to be completely honest. Like, I wouldn't say classify it as a cozy read for all, but with what my interests are, it is a cozy read to me and a comforting read to me. And so I knew I was going to enjoy this book. It was one of my final releases of 2023, so I had 2 books that I was really anticipating, and that was A Fall of Souls by R.A. Moreau, I believe the author's name is, and then it was A Queen of Myth and Monsters. And I knew, like, I stopped the second A Fall of Souls came out. I stopped what I was reading and immediately got into that one. And I was like, unless I finish this book before Queen of Myth and Monsters comes out, I'm going straight into that book. And so A Queen of Myth and Monsters came out, and I went from A Fall of Souls to that book and did not pick up the book that I was reading at the time, because I was like, these 2 are my priorities. And I was so right in those being my priorities, because it was just such a great way to end off the year and to walk into 2023. I found the author's writing just as comforting as I found it before in other books that I've read from the author. I found the story quite fascinating. There was times and walking into it, because clearly I can't go into too much detail about that book. That's why I've been a little vague in describing it, because it is a second book in a series. But walking into the second book, I didn't know what to expect, because we're in a new setting, or not necessarily a new setting, but in a new mindset essentially. And I was just like, what are we going to do with this information that we have? The information that is completely changes everything. Like, the main character realizes that she is more than just one individual. She is a part of a larger story that she is responsible for placing herself on, and I don't know how to describe that. So if you read the books and you know what I'm talking about, you know that the main character is the reason that she is on the path that she's on. But I don't even want to say like, I don't even want to say how that came to be, because I feel like that's a spoiler, because that was a pretty big plot twist in the first book, even though I had a feeling really early on in the first book that that was how things were going to go. I digress. Knowing that she's going to be in a whole nother mindset, knowing that she knows that she is the reason that she's on the path that she's currently on, where in the first book she kind of felt like she didn't have control over her situation and she was doing this for her kingdom, to then realize I am making these sacrifices that I made because of decisions that I've made. And this continuous theme of, why aren't these people respecting me? I have given my all. I've given my life. I have sacrificed myself time and time again for people who don't respect me because of who I am married to, who I am, and simply because I am a woman. So beautiful. Additionally, in this story, I read a bit of the author's note, and the author had stated, like, with this story, she realized that she needed to write backstories for all the characters that didn't get backstories in the first book, and that's what she did. And every last one of them, every last backstory that we received in this book was so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. And the author, again, in the author's note, even mentions, like, all the characters are morally gray. Like, all of them are. And I find them so fascinating, because even the ones that I know I should be mad at, and I am upset with them, I can't be completely disappointed in or mad at, really. I could be upset. I'm not even disappointed in them, because I understand why they made the decisions they made. I'm just upset that it impacted other characters I care about. And it's just so hard, because I still care about the characters that made crappy decisions, except for one of them. One of them I couldn't care less about. So there is that. I really enjoyed this book. I was expecting a little less from it, because I didn't know what to expect, and so I tried to tamper my feelings down a bit, and yet it surprised me in such great ways. I think going into the book, I was like, since this is so new, I'm kind of losing that drive and that passion I felt at the end of King of Battle and Blood. But man, as it kept ramping up, as we learned more about other characters, I was just like, never mind. Never mind. All that energy is back. All my love for, I love and care for even more characters than I loved in the first book. Like, it's just so, I love this world. And Isada as a main character, I love her so much. Like, so much, it's ridiculous. I absolutely love this main character as a main character. She is strong. She is brave. She is angry, and I am justifying it for her. I'm so happy for her. She is just such a great character. She's caring and compassionate, and she will fight for people that do not deserve it, and yet she gets upset when they show their true colors, and that is okay. Like, she's flawed in her own ways, but at the root of everything is this kind of blend of anger, care, compassion, but frustration in the fact that she is giving all this care and love into others, into her kingdom, into her people, and they refuse to give it back to her. And so she's constantly fighting for people that refuse to respect her, and yet she is a bad bitch through and through, and I love her so much. So much. I didn't know I was going to talk that much about the first book I read this year. Oh my god, this might not be a quick video like I thought it would be. I don't believe the first book was multiple POVs, but this one definitely was, and I think I was surprised by that. I was so happy to get Adrian's perspective. Ooh. And the way he thinks of her. Anyways, for me, A Queen of Myth and Monsters filled out my book with multiple POVs, as well as an anticipated read. And again, I gave that book 4.5 stars. Started out the year with a bang, quite honestly. The only better option would have been a 5 stars, but Let's talk about my second read for the year. The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Bitch. Oh my god. Sip tea, sip tea, sip tea. Because, oopsies. Nothing spilled. We're fine. It's literally just water. Bitch. Oh my god. The Fifth Season is everything. That's it. That's my review. This book was in my 23, not 23. It was supposed to be my 23 books of 2023, and I haven't filmed it yet, and I've already read it, so technically it can't be anymore, and that's annoying. But it was in my 22 books of 2022. The trilogy was gifted to me by Emma for my birthday 2 years ago. I'm 24. I've had this book for a while. I wanted to read this trilogy for so long. I wanted to read this book in particular. I just wanted to start it so badly for so long. But I was also, while I anticipated it, while I was looking forward to reading it, while I knew I would love it, I was also quite intimidated by it. I didn't, like, it's dystopian, kind of sci-fi, and I was just like, do I have the mental capacity for this? And the answer for all of 2022 was no, I did not. Okay, and I'm so happy I made that decision because this book is sad, bruh. This book is sad. But I knew I needed to be in the perfect headspace to read the Fifth Season. What I didn't know is that it just needed to be an instant decision, because what ended up happening is that my Libby hold for the audiobook came through, and I was like, well, I was coming like straight out of my reacting to my 22 books of 2022, and I was like, I need to, well, as I haven't read it yet, I might as well read it now. And it definitely falls under an anticipated release, a TBR veteran, like it falls under prompts I knew, so I was like, whatever, let's do it. It's now or never, baby. This book is so well written, so beautifully crafted, so elaborate and detailed. This whole video is spoiler free, so I'm not going to go too in depth about it, but I will talk about each of the characters. In the Fifth Season, we follow three main characters. The first is Demaya, who is a young girl. Second is Cyanide, who is a young woman, like in her early 20s, I would say. And then the next is Insura? We're gonna go with Insura, but know that I did not read her name enough times to remember it, because again, that perspective is told in the second person. It's the only perspective that's told in the second person. So again, every time I read you, I thought me. And I'm gonna get into that for a little bit. Essen. Sorry. I don't know why I was adding an A and an R in there. It's Essen. What is it called? I forget what the people are called. Because all that's in my head is the derogatory term for them. But that's what I'm just not going to say it. But like I said, each of these characters are a race of people. I don't remember the name. I can only remember the derogatory name for them, and even though it's a made-up derogatory term, I still don't want to use it because it harmed like the characters I care about. Like, it being used harmed the characters I care about, and so I'm just not going to use it. But because it's still derogatory anyways. So each of these three characters are these race of people who are able to control and who have this power and this gift to sense the earth, like earth, really, like sense the earth, sense the ground, metals. Think like earthbenders from Avatar: The Last Airbender, but even more so, because like one person can actually cause a natural disaster. Also, because they are a race of people, just like any genetics, maybe your parents don't demonstrate that they have that genetic, but it's like a recessive gene in your family, and so one kid could be this race of people, the other kid could not demonstrate these abilities. So even if your parents don't demonstrate an ability to have this power, you could inherit it from them if they have that in their lineage. And so Demaya is born into two parents who do not hold this power. And one day on the playground, she is being picked on by a little boy, and all of a sudden her power presents itself. And what happened, and the fact that it is something that is seen and shown in a survival setting, and really it's not meant to, like, as it's presented, it doesn't really present itself as controlled, especially if you haven't practiced with it, if you haven't had any training in it. And yeah, it's just real bad. It's just real bad. And so when she is found out to have this ability, like I said, these race of, or I don't think I've stated it flat out, but these race of people are seen as less than, they're seen as animal-like. If parents find out that their children have this ability, they might kill them, they might sell them off to someone. They it is a bad omen of sorts for your child to exhibit this power, because again, if it doesn't go trained, it's very hard to control it, and it could cause a natural disaster. And so there's a lot of fear surrounding people with this ability, and that fear presents itself in hate. And so her parents end up selling her off into this school. Now, really, her parents just sell her off. They don't really care, like, if they kill her or not. They just sell her off, because if it is found out that they are harboring her, they could die, and they have another child, so that child could die as well. So they sell her off, don't care whether she lives or die. That's it. And Demaya goes to the school where they are trained to wield their abilities, and there are these people that watch over them called guardians, and guardians are a bunch of BS people. They present themselves as nice and caring, but they also let the young people they are watching over know that, like, I will kill you if I need to. And imagine being raised by someone you know would kill you if they felt like you were dangerous. Not a great setting to be in, and a quite terrifying setting to be in. And that's where Demaya finds herself, in a school full of guardians, in a school with her own guardian. Pass these tests or die. And that is just the spirit of the school. It's like, you pass or you die. If you don't have control over your power, you will die. There's no casting you out. You are a danger without control, and so you must go. Just terrifying. Just truly terrifying. Next up is Cyanide, who, again, like I stated, is a young woman. She's like early 20s, and she is a part of not the guard, I forget what these people are called, but a well-trained, she has 4 of her stars, so she's well-trained in her abilities. And she has been presented the opportunity, or not, it's not an opportunity, she has been chosen to breed. I hate saying that with people, but essentially that's what happened. She has been chosen to breed with a person who has 10 stars. She has 4. This person has 10. She's very young and has 4 stars, so she's showing great potential in that sense. And then there is one of these people who have 10 stars, and so she is sent to go breed with him. Neither of them really wants this, but it's just like, this is the duty of our people, to continue to make children that are raised in this like guard of sorts, and trained from birth, so that there could be more 10. It's rings. 10 rings, 10 stars. 10 rings. It's 10 rings. She has 4 rings, he has 10 rings. I'm sorry. Why am I thinking it's stars? So is it a ring that looks like stars? I'm gonna say ring from now on. Because I think I was making up the star part, and neither of them really wants to do this. In fact, he has been chosen as a 10 ringer. He is the only one, and has had to do this before, and has like a bunch of kids out there that he knows nothing about it, because they don't raise their children. Their children are sent, and they're raised by the Falcrum. It's real gross. It's real gross. I don't like that society at all. Yeah, they're horrible people. And so Cyanide is sent on a new mission that she's going to go on with this 10 ringer. And throughout their time on this mission, they need to do the deed so that they can have a child. It is Cyanide as a character Like Demaya, I just felt so bad for. But she's a child. Y'all know, if you've heard me talk about children before in books, my first instinct is always to be like, it's a baby. That's a baby right there. Protect the babies. And so I definitely felt for Demaya, even though she was quite smart and intelligent and curious, and I love that about her. Overall, the setting she was in, what she had to go through, I was just like, she is a baby. Love and care for that baby as a child, because she is a child. I don't care what power she holds. She is a child. And you need to be nurturing her childhood. Anyway, so for Cyanide, she was presented as very strong-willed, very opinionated, and just a strong individual. She was like sassy and swords, or just, I loved her. Cyanide's back and forth Alabaster is just so great. Alabaster is a 10 ringer. Their back and forth was just really great. The way they became companions but had like this love-hate relationship going on, I really enjoyed and appreciated. Also in their story, you really get a good depiction of the world that they live in, because Demaya is very young. She doesn't know very much except for the heartache she experienced from her family when they found out her abilities, and the school that she's now training in, and the pain she felt from her guardian, who she discusses loving and fearing in the duality of the two, and experiencing the two for one person, because she knows like he will kill me if necessary, but he's also the only person who has shown me care. And so I love him for that, but I fear him because I know that he will kill me if he finds me too dangerous. And so with Cyanide, you really see the real, like, how horrible this world is to these people, because they're on this mission to help this village, and the village doesn't respond well to them. Along the way, they find out what happens to a young child that demonstrates a high ability, but a lack of control, and it is just so horrible. Like, even though I'm reading it, I know that these are human beings. This society does not view them as such, and it is just so heart aching. And next up, that one hurt. Next up, we have Essen. It's about to hurt too, because Essen's perspective, she is like a 40-year-old woman, I believe, or in her 40s, maybe late 30s, and she is a mother of two. And she comes home one day and discovers that her youngest child has been murdered, and that her husband is the one that murdered the young child, and he also kidnapped their older child, their daughter. And it's just so heartbreaking. And so she goes on this mission to find her daughter. She is also one of these race of people, and she knows that he killed their son, who was only 3 years old. She knows that he had killed their son because the son demonstrated this ability. And she knew that the daughter also has this ability and also has this power within her. And so she knows like her only hope in saving her daughter is to find them before her husband finds out that the daughter also has this ability. And so she goes searching for her daughter as like this one child that she can save. And y'all, Essen's chapters hurt so bad. Like, so bad, because they're told in the second person. And I mentioned this on sprints that I was hosting on my channel. Her perspective is told in the second person, and so it's you feel this way or you think this way. It's just you. And unlike other books that I've read in the second person, which are more letter format, for the first time, it felt more like you are the character, which is why I constantly forget Essen's name, because every time I read You book for the first time in reading a second perspective, I actually thought me, like me. And I found myself, although I found her perspective to be one of the more fascinating ones, I would say it would go like fascination-wise, Cyanide, Essen, and then Demaya, just because Demaya is really young. And even though I found that way, and I really felt for her as a mother who just lost her child to her husband and is searching for her other child, trying to save her oldest child. While I felt for that, the fact that every time I was reading a perspective, I was thinking you as in me, and she would just felt so much heartache and was going through so much, and being a mother, not allowing herself to grieve while also having this mission of saving her child. I was just like, this is a lot of heartache, this is a lot of pain, and me thinking it's me, I'm disassociating. And just to find out as the story progresses, the main, like, Essen is also doing a ton of disassociating. She's like, I can't grieve my son because it'll blind me to this mission. I will let loose my power. I will not be able to search for my daughter. I cannot grieve my son because I need to find my daughter. I need to protect my daughter. And so I'm disassociating from this perspective because I'm just like, if I can think of this as me, I'm going to fall apart. She's disassociating as a character because she's like, I'm actually experiencing this and I need to save my child and avenge the one that I have lost. And I'm just like, oh, this is just so hard to read. But as I continue to read the chapters and continue to read the book, I grew to appreciate what N.K. Jemisin was able to do with that perspective. Like, it was so important. And what you find out about why that particular perspective is told in the second person, it is absolutely mind-blowing. Oh my goodness. How the stories intertwine with one another is absolutely jaw on the floor, head blown, so well done. I am so excited to get into the next book. I don't know when I will, but my goodness, was it a great one. 5 stars, absolutely well done. My goodness, I wish I could spoil, but I can't. For me, the 5th season filled out a TBR veteran, and I believe that's it. Next up, I read The Aquacorn Cove by Kay O'Neill. This is a graphic novel story, and it was so cute. It was just adorable. Kay O'Neill is just, their art is just so cozy. Their story is just so cozy, and this story in particular is for and about those who are committed to saving our oceans and our reefs. And it was just so freaking cute. I loved our main character. She is the cutest thing ever, and the world they developed with these kind of like aquatic mermaid-esque like people, as well as they're called aquacorns because they are like seahorses, but they're unicorns, so they're like unicorn seahorses, and they're so cute. They're so cute. Not quite my tea dragons, but they are close. They're adorable. The way that Kay O'Neill is able to create these mystical, magical, really fairy-like creatures is just, it's like a warm hug, and it's just so adorable. There's not much to say about this one because it's just a small graphic novel, but it is so cute. I love Kay O'Neill. I will constantly go to this author for coziness and just feeling better on a down day. Even though I'm doing fine now, this is the author I need to go to when I am feeling sad, because the way this story put a smile on my face. Just so adorable and great representation. And this one I gave 4 stars. For me, this one fills out the standalone book prompt as well as the short book. It is definitely under 300 pages. It was a grand old time. Read 3 books. I'm almost done. I am currently reading, if you're curious, I am currently reading Midnight Kisses by Janine Bennett, I believe is author's name. If not, it's here. And I am using this book as my book that I bought for the cover because I saw someone on Instagram raving about this. Kimmy's Books, I believe, who also I believe has a channel, but they're raving about this on Instagram, and I saw this book. I saw what they were saying about this book, but mostly I got the book because of the cover. And it's also a really hefty book for a romance read. It's over 500 pages, like a little bit over 500 pages. But what does a romance book have? Like, why? Your romance. Why are you fantasy numbers? It's like the coach's daughter and the star athlete, star quarterback. Real cute, real cute. And it takes place in college as well, so it's a slightly older, like the main characters are slightly older. They're 21, so they're still young adults, but they're a slightly older age group than if they were in high school, because I'm realizing I don't really like high school books. I hope that this video is of some substance. Yeah, I just really didn't want to leave y'all hanging with Cozathon, because I'm trying to film other videos too. It's the beginning of the year. I'm trying I'm trying to keep up with everything, but I hope that this video was cozy for you all. If you're joining us for Cozathon, I hope it gave you some ideas from books that you could look into to continue your Cozathon journey and filling out those prompts, as well as just, you know, in general, finding some great books, because I started out my year with a 4.5, a 5-star read, and a 4-star read. My average at the moment is 4.5 stars, and I've read 3 books. We're doing great over here, baby. And I hope that you are doing great with your reads as well. Let me know how your Cozathon is going down below in the comment section. And if you are not participating, let me know what books you started out 2023 with and how those are going. I'm very interested to see. But with that being said, I believe that this is the end of the video, y'all. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my face, my voice, my actionness, go ahead and press that like button down below and press the subscribe button and bell notification if you'd like to be notified when I upload. If you'd like to stay connected with me, as I would love to stay connected with you, I of course will have all my social medias linked down below as well. And if you would like to support this channel further, I will have my Amazon wishlist linked down below. With that being said, I believe that that is everything. Although I am probably forgetting something, because I always forget something. But, bye guys. Log your books in Cozathon, okay? Log your books. Don't say I didn't warn you. Log your damn books.